During a recent Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on gerrymandering, Senator Ted Cruz and Republican witness Will Chamberlain from the conservative Article 3 Project, which advocates for limiting birthright citizenship, assertively suggested that the current Democratic Party is responsible for the country's long history of racial discrimination. While Cruz and Chamberlain correctly cited past events that harmed black citizens, their argument is fundamentally disingenuous. The Southern Democrats responsible for those actions are no longer associated with the modern Democratic Party. Instead, their ideological successors, whom I would include both Cruz and Chamberlain, are firmly established within the current Republican Party. Please review their hearing dialogue, followed by an explanation of the party switch after the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a moment ago, our colleague Senator Hirono said there's a lot more to say, and indeed she's right. And in fact, I want to go back to her comments. She began by saying we have a long history of racial discrimination in this country. That's undoubtedly correct. And then she said, quote, we had poll taxes, we had literacy tests, we even had tests of how many jelly beans are in a jar. Mr. Chamberlain, when Senator Hirono says we had poll taxes, I want to ask you who we is, and in particular, what party was it that implemented poll taxes in the South?
And I don't want to necessarily speak in every single case, but I'm pretty confident it was mostly the Democrats.
And what party was it that put literacy tests in place in the South?
Same answer, mostly the Democrats.
And what party was it that had tests like how many jelly beans are in a bottle?
The Democrats.
Tell me, what party were the founders of the Ku Klux Klan from?
I'm pretty sure that was the Democrats.
Indeed. In fact, Nathan Bedford Forrest, the founder of the Klan, was a delegate to the 1860 Democrat National Convention. What party wrote the Jim Crow laws in the South?
The Democrats.
And so on this side of the aisle were members of the Republican Party. Who was the first Republican president?
Abraham Lincoln.
The Republican Party was literally founded to oppose slavery. We came into existence because slavery was a grotesque evil.
Conservative Southern white politicians left the Democratic Party after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and joined the Republican Party, where they continue their opposition to civil rights to this day. The political realignment of the American South, from a Democratic stronghold to a Republican one, was a multi-decade shift, accelerated by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson's signing of the act triggered the departure of conservative Democratic white Southerners, who opposed federal intervention in civil rights laws. They saw the support for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 as a betrayal of the Democratic Party gentlemen's silence agreement, where national Democratic leaders deliberately avoided passing federal civil rights laws to keep Southern white politicians from walking out of the Democratic Party. Figures like Senator Strom Thurmond switched parties, paving the way for the Republican Southern strategy, led by Richard Nixon. This strategy won over these voters by emphasizing themes like states' rights and law and order. Election data confirm this permanent structural change. The South became reliably Republican after the 1960s, and no Democratic presidential candidate has won a majority of the overall white vote, particularly among white men, since 1964. This realignment was foretold by President Lyndon B. Johnson, who asserted that Democrats had delivered the South to the Republican Party for a long time to come. This prediction is supported by historical election data from 1964 to today.